Hi, this is Matthew. I'm going to do another Rolling Stones review. We'll talk about the next album, Exile on Main Street, but there are a few compilation albums to talk about and one kind of jammy type album. I don't know what you call that one. We'll start with the first compilation, though, because APCO/Decca/London Records, whatever you want to call them, the Alan Klein stuff again rears its ugly head. They have put out another collection of material. It is an album called Hot Rocks 1964 to 1974. And it's actually the first album I ever had from the Rolling Stones from a garage sale. It was on tape. Mine was just a long play tape, and it was all on one tape. I guess it might have been a double LP or something, but but this was all in one whole tape, which is kind of cool. Obviously, it would be a disc too, like record, a double. But I think there are some differences, because I know when we get to side one here, the first track, I know it's not what I have based on Apple Music's streaming version. We start with, because it's got the where they're from and everything. This is the Time Was On My Side guitar version, which is the one that to me is the more popular. It's in stereo on this. My cassette copy is mono. It's the organ one, which I think was the US single anyway. So that's different anyway. Everything else I think is the same. I thought one other track was on there, but I think that was from the singles collection I heard a few years later. I got this in high school. I think as a freshman I had it. I think middle of the year. I tended to take it when I had a tape recorder for notes. If there was a day that we were just doing nothing, a lot of times I would bring this and play it. The album. Number 2 then is going to be Heart of Stone, which is a stereo version. And then Play With Fire, which was... This is mono. I could swear it's in stereo, but I don't have mine to check right now. It does still play. And then it's I Can't Get No Satisfaction. It claims stereo, but it seemed mono to me. And it was mono on my copies. I don't know where they're talking about. I'll have to check that one again. I don't think that's right. And then It's Just Goodbye, which is the mono version, of course, still. I've never heard that in stereo ever. Get Off of My Cloud, also mono. I like the stereo version better, same with Satisfaction, but I've never found those on any collection I've ever found of their stuff. I heard those on all these radio stations in the 90s and stuff. I've never heard them again. Side 2, then we go to Mother's Little Helper, also in mono. 19th Nervous Breakdown, 19th Nervous Breakdown, same thing. Painted Black, these are all mono. I know there's a stereo copy of Painted Black. I've heard it. Under My Thumb is stereo. Next. Ruby Tuesday is stereo, of course. Let's Spend the Night Together, also stereo. Our side 3 would have consisted of... Be fun to find it this way. Does anybody have a copy? Be fun to have this on vinyl. Jumpin' Jack Flashes, of course, stereo. Street Fighting Man, same thing. These are all stereo now. Sympathy for the Devil. These are all stereo tracks from this point onwards. Honky Tonk Women. Give Me Shelter. Our side 4 has Midnight Rambler. That is the Yeah Yeah's version of that one. That's the first way I ever heard it. So yeah, it's that get your yayas out version. You can't always get what you want, of course. That's always been stereo on anything I've ever seen. Brown Sugar, of course, because the whole Klein thing, they got those before they wrote them before their split, and so they have Brown Sugar, which would have been from the previous album, and then Wild Horses, of course, because again, from both of those are from Sticky Fingers, but of course because they were written before 71, they are included, and we'll see endless loops of all these things. And then they did another one of a similar vein, which was called, just one sec as I pull that page up again. I don't have the next one. I wish I did. It's very random and very interesting. I didn't listen to it. I just didn't have the time at the moment, but it is going to be called More Hot Rocks, Big Hits, and Phased Cookies. No idea why it's called that, but that is what it's called. And it is much more hodgepodge than the last one was. But it's kind of cool. And we go with the following tracks. I don't remember if they're mono or stereo for sure on some of these. We have Tell Me, which was their first kind of original song. But we do get some interesting stuff we have never had before in this country. Not Fade Away is next. The Last Time, that's definitely mono. It's All Over Now, which, yeah, if they could have just had like another record or two of this, they could have put it on the other one. That would have been nice to have had. But it's on this set instead. Good Times, Bad Times. That's the It's All Over Now B-side. And then I'm Free is here. And then we jump to side 2. Out of Time, which I think is part of the Aftermath sessions, I think. Lady Jane, which I really had thought it was on the other one, but it's on this one instead, which is fine. It is here. Sit on the Fence, that was kind of a fun track. Have you seen your mother baby standing in the shadow? I think that was stereo, I think. I'll have to troll through this collection. I can actually hear it because it's so interesting. Dandelion, which was a good choice from Her Majesty's Satanic Request. And then We Love You next to it, which good, solid ones to have next to each other. Those were good. The best two things off of that whole period. Side 3 has She's a Rainbow. Good idea. It does not have the little intro on it, which is unfortunate. That's kind of cool. 2000 Letters from Home, also from that whole psychedelic album. Then Child of the Moon. The No Expectations, which is an interesting choice. Let It Bleed. Side 4 then has What to Do. Money, the cover of that one. And finally, Come On is available. Finally. Their very ever first single is on this. So we finally get it. We had I Want to Be Your Man on another collection. Now we have it here, which is great. And then Fortune Teller, which is kind of cool. And then Poison Ivy, their coasters thing. I think that was on Saturday Club. Bye Bye Johnny, that's on the cover. Then I Can't Be Satisfied. Long, Long While. Yeah, so there's like eight songs on that final side. So, yeah, kind of a cool collection. Go check that one out. The more I would just search for more Hot Rocks or just Hot Rocks, and you'll find both. That's such a long title. It's an interesting title, but a long one. And then in '72, I don't know if it was just Decca, but it said Decca, and maybe Abco, maybe London Records. I don't know because I can't find the last compilation album called Milestones. I cannot find it to stream anywhere. I didn't feel like trying to go on YouTube to find it. This is not very well liked. But of course, with the whole client things, they have no control over any of these sets. They just put them out. But we start with this one on Milestones. We have I Can Get No Satisfaction. I don't know what version. She's a Rainbow with the whole announcer intro, that whole interesting intro from the original track. Under My Thumb, I Just Want to Make Love to You. That's kind of a cool song anyway. It's been covered by a lot of people. Yesterday's Papers. I Want to Be Your Man, so it's on this one. So if you had all these compilations from that period, you would have had, of course, Hot Rocks was in '71, Hot Rocks was '72. This was in '72 also. And then side 2 has Time Was on My Side. It says True Stereo. I don't know what version. If it's the guitar one or the organ, I don't know because I can't find it. Get Off of My Cloud, don't know. Also on its status, Not Fade Away. I assume the mono versions are still here because even in 2002 they were still using the mono stuff on one set that I have. Out of Time. She Said Yeah. It claims it's fake stereo. I can't check that, which is most irritating. Stray Cat Blues, and that is all of that. That's all that has. Kind of an interesting set. Again, recycled things because it's the Klein, all that stuff going on that I've talked about endlessly now, and we'll probably keep talking about because it will keep coming up at some points. But now we move on to an interesting thing. In 1969, when they were doing Let It Bleed, Ry Cooder was around doing, I forget what he was doing on the album. He was there doing sessions. And according to Wikipedia, Keith Richards wasn't there. For whatever reason, he wasn't there yet. So, it's hard to do stuff without Keith. So they're just kind of waiting around for him, and they decide to do all these jammy things, like jam sessions with each other, just to play stuff. It sat around forever. For some reason, they got it out in '72 and put out a little 6-song thing called Jamming with Edward. I guess he went by Edward Ry Cooder. It's like a nickname or something. I have no idea if it's his middle name or why he's called that, but they even have it in one of the track names. Okay, but we're going to start or something. So it's everybody but Keith. Very oddly mixed. Kind of interesting to hear. Just totally messing around. Mick Jagger sounds like he's singing out of a speaker. It's weird. It's interesting, but it's weird. But go check it out. It's called Jamming with Edward. Only a 6-track thing, but it was kind of cool to listen to it. All stereo, of course. We just have a few tracks, though, and then we'll get to the main album that I want to talk about. It has the following here things. They just kind of just a random jamming thing. A lot of people don't like it, but it would have been kind of cool to have had it if even just to listen to it a time or two. We have the following tracks on here. The Boudoir Stomp, which in case you know is about a 5-minute song. And then we have It Hurts Me Too, which is an Elmer James, it's definitely a cover and stuff. It's another 5-minute track. Edward's Thrum Up, which is an 8-minute and 11-minute track. That would have been side 1. Side 2 would have had 3 more songs. We have then Beau with Rye, which is an 11-minute and 5-second track. Yeah, big long things. Very interesting. But especially if you like jam stuff, just kind of off the cuff, weird impromptu things. This is totally cool. Interlude El Hopo, which is only a 2-minute thing. And then we just have something called Highland Fling, which is a 4-minute and 20-minute track. The people on here, though, we had Ry Cooder on guitar, Mick Jagger on harmonica and vocals, Charlie Watts on drums, Nicky Hopkins on keyboards and piano, Bill Wyman on bass, and nobody else was around. None of the additional guys were there, just the main, your core band, and Ry Cooder. So, yeah, kind of cool. Jamming with Edward with an exclamation point, or without one, whichever. Neat thing, weird, oddball thing, but kind of cool. Anyway, go check that out. Now we can move on to the actual album from 72, Exile on Main St, which I guess started being recorded in 69, went through the Sticky Fingers sessions, and then by itself. A lot of drug use here going on. They did some tax kind of things. They were in France for a while, at a house, and all kinds of drugs were going on. No one was there consistently. Just hangers-on, just people running around. No one was ever truly there. Sessions well until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. No consistency at all. This went on for a while. I guess some people did the drugs, others didn't. It was kind of a weird deal, pissed some people off in France and other places. They finally moved it all to, I think they went back to England or went back to LA somewhere, and finished the thing out in like a basement studio thing. It's a very interesting album. A lot of interesting sounds happening, different drum sounds because you've got different places. It's hard to know what Mick Jagger is saying half the time. It's really interesting musically, though. All kinds of vocal effects and just weird guitar amp noises. It's really kind of cool. There are a few known tracks you might know on here, but it is pretty cool. A lot of people say it's their best album. It's still Beggar's Banquet for me so far. I like it, and it was, of course, there were some issues here. And we will start it off here. It also, it's their first double album. They had so much material. So we've got a double album of material here. So it's a much longer. It's 18 tracks instead of like 10. We start out with Rocks Off. And of course, all the horn guys are back too. So I loved it anyway because I played trombone. But I think I heard a trombone. We'll find out if I actually heard a trombone or if I just heard a weird sax. Rip This Joint is next. And then Shake Your Hips. It's a Slim Harpo song. I think it's a blues cover. Casino Boogie. Tumbling Dice, that song. Which Linda Ronstadt also covers a couple years later. I don't remember the album name. She does a really good cover of that. Of course, the original Mick vocal is great. Side 2 has Sweet Virginia, Torn and Frayed, Sweet Black Angel follows, Loving Cup. That's a really good track. I like that one. And then side 3. Oh yes, side 3. Get out your next record, people. Happy, the Keith Richards track, which is a great song. Apparently, he just in that basement studio near the second half of the 72 recording, he came up with this on the spot. Basically, started playing the kind of rhythms from it and the riff or whatever, and they made that track there. Good song, really good. If you really want to hear Keith Richards doing a good vocal, it's this one. Turn on the Run. I'm sorry, Turd on the Run. Yes, that Turd on the Run. I don't know why, but it is called that. Ventilator Blues. Oh yeah, great names. And then side. Sorry. Number 4 was I just want to see his face. Let It Loose. And then side 4, our final side here, is All Down the Line. Stop Breaking Down. Shine a Light. Soul Survivor. Where'd you go? Oh. And then that is it. Then it got reissued in 2010. There's a bonus disc with some like 10 new tracks. Some are some other versions. There's a couple that unrelated. Like they did with some other stuff, they have gone in and recorded vocals and some guitars and things on some of these songs. So they're not quite vintage anymore. I don't know that I like that. I didn't listen to any of these. I checked them out, but I didn't really listen super hard. I didn't know that until I read this Wikipedia article. But that kind of annoys me, because they're not going to match his voice from the period. He's going to be older. It's just weird. But we have, if you want to hear them on the bonus disc, there's some other configurations you can go look up on Apple Music. Pass the Wine, Sophie Loren, followed by Plundered My Soul. If we could get that part right. I'm Not Signifying. Following the River. Dancing in the Light is next. So Divine, Aladdin's Story. An alternate take of Loving Cup. Soul Survivor, an alternate take of It. And then Good Time Women, which I think is a Hung Tuck Women early version of that, I think. So something just called Title 5. An alternate take of All Down the Line. It was from a Japanese version of this set. And that is it. I think there's some. Oh yeah, I think there's some lives too on the super version. I thought there were some live ones, but maybe I'm thinking of the next album. I think I am. I think there's some live stuff on that. Look, when I do that one, I think there's a few versions of that. Yeah, the next one there's like 3 versions of it, so I'll have to go and kind of look through those. Our personnel though. Mick Jagger on vocals and harmonica and electric guitar. Keith Richards on guitars and backing vocals and bass guitar. And an electric piano. Mick Taylor did guitars on but a couple of tracks. So he's doing his thing. And bass guitar. And some backing vocal work. Bill Wyman on bass guitar. And that's it. Charlie Watts is on drums. Except for a couple of different exceptions. Additional people this time we have Nicky Hopkins on piano, or some usual suspects here. Bobby Keys on tenor tones and baritone sax and tambourine. He's the tambourine on Happy, just so you know. That's Bobby Keys or Bobby Kays, however you want to call him. The sax guy who does awesome work. Jim Price on trumpet and trombone and organ. I was right. So there's a trombone of different places. Yeah, Jimmy Price was on, I think, the last couple albums. Ian Stewart on piano again. He's still here, hanging out with the guys. Jimmy Miller, their producers, on percussion again, on a few things. Bill Plummer on double bass, on a couple things. Billy Preston is back on piano and organ. Yes, that Billy Preston of Nothing for Nothing, all those things, George's Friend, the Beatles, said on their stuff, but he's back on this album too, just like Sticky Fingers. He's back again, doing awesome stuff. I love him on piano and organs. He's great. Al Perkins on paddle steel guitar. Richard Dynamis Washington on marimba. He was on another album or two. Vanessa Fields and Cleta King on some backing vocals. They do great work, those ladies, on 2, 3, 4 different tracks. Joe Green on backing vocals. Jerry Kirkland on backing vocals. Shirley Goodman and Tommy Lynn and McCree Binnick on backing vocals as well. Catherine McDonald also backing vocals. So they had some backers, male and female, different people. Technical people are Jimmy Miller was a producer still. Glenn John's engineer, still doing his good work. Andy John's engineer, are those guys, are they, father and son or brothers, or who are those two related? Does anyone know? I asked that before, but I still want to know. Joe Zaccarino, engineer. Jeremy G, engineer. Doug Sachs, mastering. Robert Frank, cover photography and concept. John Vandemersfold, I think. Layout design, I guess, like if it folds out and stuff. Norman Seif, layout design also. Our 2010 bonus disc. Credits. Keith Richards on lead vocals. On sub, Soul Survivor. Obviously, these are new vocals. Alicia Fisher and Cindy Mazzell came in to help with that. Fill the tracks out, I guess, because they were in kind of demo-y, unfinished states. And they decided to kind of finish some of these off. But unfortunately, so much time had passed that no one's going to sound the same. And the guitars aren't going to sound the same. I don't like when people do that. Because I can totally tell, and it just kind of takes it away. It takes me out of that time period. I don't like it. David Campbell, string arrangement on that. They added to that track to fill it out. Donna Was and the Glimmer Twins production. Bob Clearmountain mixed those up. And that is it. But it's a really cool album. Has two really good tracks on it. We're about to hit a really big one. To me, I really like the next album. There's a track I like on it. And it will be Goat's Head Soup. And one really kind of odd track. But that will come next. But I wanted to get all those in. I hope I haven't missed any compilation albums. Just so people know they're out there. If you're looking for just... As I said, for a really good Stones intro, I would do that Hot Rocks thing, honestly. I know it's early. It doesn't have everything. That was my first one. Because the 40 Licks album in 2002 didn't exist yet. I was a few years away. I would have gotten it about 98 or so. So it didn't exist yet. But if you want the really early well-known stuff, it's that first Hot Rock set is really good. But yeah, I only had one tape instead of two because it was a long playing cassette. Of course, when you see it streaming, it is on disc 1 and disc 2. All those two collections are. I'll have to go through the more Hot Rocks in better detail, but yeah, I was trying to mostly get the main albums out and kind of comb through them, check stereo mono, so you can see if they're different. But I swear our version and the British one are different, I swear. Because that guitar thing that's not that version of Time Is On My Side. But yeah, this is a really good album. Exile. Always in the top, albums of theirs. Anytime you see their albums, like recommended albums, it's always recommended. There's 2 or 3 of these in a row, like from this period, are always recommended. So definitely go check this out if you're listening along with me as I go through everything. Good stuff, neat guitar sounds and great horns, and yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Unusual things, still kind of bluesy, but kind of experimenting a little bit with the sound. I think they'll kind of go back to basics again, but just trying something different, kind of a weird period. Amazed it got made at all with all of the people living in that house in France and all the drugs and weirdness that was going on for months. I'm amazed the thing got made at all. I'm surprised they didn't try to kill each other. But they got through it. I know the drugs persist for a long, long time, but the fact these guys got anything made at all is great, and that it still works. But yeah, go check these out. That we'll move on next to Goat's Head Soup. What an odd name for an album. I wonder what's on the album cover. That one. I do like Angie from that. I really like the way that's arranged and how he sings it. Yeah, it's great. But we'll get to that next. And I will see you guys now in another video.